I recently read an article written by a millennial named Sierra. The article started like this: Dear baby boomers and Generation X, quit telling us we aren't special. We already know. I asked a group of millennials at the University of Florida if they agreed with what Sierra said. This is what they told me. When we grew up, we were awarded for participation, not achievement. When we got straight A's, we got a row of stickers. But when we got straight B's, we also got a row of stickers. If we won last place, we got a pizza party. Our elementary school teachers recognized a student of the month, but made sure that every student got recognized. And when we played t-ball, we got a trophy, even if we never hit the ball all season. We were raised with praise, but this did not give us self-esteem. We were told, you are beautiful, you are smart, you are talented, you are unique. But we knew that that was not a sincere reward by any means. It was just a parenting strategy. Our teachers gave us A's, but did we deserve them? Probably not all the time. We think that our teachers were afraid of what our parents might do to them if they knew they gave their perfect child a less than perfect grade. Our parents told us, you're special. Our teachers told us, you can do anything you want to do. And now here we are, entering the real world, going to apply for our first real job, and you won't hire us. So it seems like we aren't really that special. And now, we're realizing for the first time that this world that we live in is about individualization. But we've grown up in a world where we've all been treated the same, and we don't know how to even begin to stand out. How do we know what we are good at when we have been told that we are good at every single thing we do? How do we know what our weaknesses are? How do we know how to begin to even improve if we don't know what our weaknesses are? And now they worry, how do I know what I am supposed to pursue for a career? That's what they told me. In the real world, we are not given an award for participating. We do not get a trophy for finishing last, and we absolutely do not get a ribbon when we quit. But when we grew up, we did. When we grew up, we got that. So to all the well-meaning parents out there who read all the books and studied all the theories about how to raise us, please stop reading it. Please stop. Stop applauding us for every single thing that we do. Stop giving us praise when it isn't deserved. Only praise us when we've worked really hard at something and when we've earned something, and when we haven't, tell us. Tell us how we can improve. We can handle it. It seems to us like you are the ones who can't. I'm very lucky that my parents weren't those kinds of parents. When I grew up, my sister and I were raised in a home where we knew that we had to work hard. We knew that you couldn't always get what you wanted, and sometimes you'd fail. And I'm so thankful for that, because it allowed me to start a company my junior year of college quite by accident. When I was 21 years old, I walked into the mall and fell in love with a pair of jeans that I absolutely could not afford. They were $99 plus tax, and I asked my parents to buy them for me. But they said, no, you can't have those. So I put an ad on Craigslist to clean a house. Cleaned a house, bought the jeans. I thought that was the end of the story. But really, it was just the beginning. The woman who hired me, well, she asked me to come back and clean her house. And then she told her friends about me. And before I knew it, I was cleaning houses 5 days a week. I ended up getting a contract to clean thousands of empty apartments one summer. I hired 60 students to help me with the work. 45 of the 60 quit on the second day. I was able to get them all back, but that's a story for another time. And things continued to grow after that, but I thought, no way is this going to be my career. This is just a way to help me get through school. Well, my company, it's called Student Maid, we just celebrated 6 years. And last year, we employed over 500 people. Thank you. Thanks. We clean stuff. We scrub toilets. We dust. We vacuum. We only hire students, high school, college students, graduate students, and they have to have at least a 3.5 GPA to work with us. We are known in our industry for our retention rate. Most cleaning companies can only keep their team members for an average of a few months before they leave and look for another job. Why? Because cleaning is terrible. It's not fun. At Student Maid, we keep our employees for 2.5 years. And they only leave because they have to. They can't work with us if they're no longer a student. So let me say that again. We employ millennials for 2.5 years. They scrub dirty toilets, and we have to force them to leave. We are most known for our culture and the impact that it has on the students who walk through our doors. We frequently will have organizations who recruit from our graduating class of seniors every year because they know that our students are confident leaders and they possess skills that most graduates nowadays unfortunately do not have. Things like decision-making and communicating and confidence and taking pride in their work. And let me be clear that this has absolutely nothing to do with a 3.5 GPA. Because when these students first walk in our doors, they don't have any of these skills. It doesn't matter how high their GPA is. But we do things very differently. We pay based on performance. So they clean a house, and the customer takes a survey, and then that feedback is put on a wall in our office for everyone to see. Sometimes it's wonderful, and sometimes it's pretty terrible. But we believe in complete transparency because it is the only way to improve. But what is so mind-boggling to me, what I cannot figure out, is it seems when we have these conversations with them, when we share this feedback with them, we are the first people to ever give them negative feedback. They don't know how to handle it. Some of them cry, some of them get angry, some threaten to quit, and then you have the ones who have their parents call us. But that does not fly at Student Maid. We are a parent-free zone. No, thank you. But we still give them the feedback. We have to do a lot of work to reverse the effects of this praise overload that they've been given their whole lives. But with each survey, they get better at taking the feedback until they get to this point where they sit there and welcome it with open arms because they know that it is the only way to grow. But my question is, why are we the first ones in their lives to treat them like adults? Why are we doing the job that you as parents should have been doing this whole time? We're living in a world where parents are stalking their children. They're not letting us fail. They're not letting us have self-reliance. They're not helping us build our own self-confidence. They're helicopters that fly over us and protect us. And sometimes they're lawnmowers that jump in front of us and clip down all these obstacles so that we never have to actually fail ourselves. Not my parents. They let my sister and I fail all the time. And I didn't like it. But now I admire them for it because I can't even imagine how hard that was for them to watch. When I started my company, my dad, who is a public policy attorney, warned me. He said, before you incorporate under that name, because at the beginning my company was called something other than Student Maid, before you incorporate under that name, you need to do your research and you need to make sure that there isn't another organization who owns the rights to that name. I said, okay, Dad, I didn't do my research. I quickly incorporated. And my dad, knowing that there's a good chance I wouldn't do my research, did not go back behind me and double check. Well, sure enough, I infringed on someone's trademark. I almost got sued at the age of 21. And I lost a lot of money from a business loan that I had just worked really hard to get. And how hard do you think it was for my dad to sit there and watch that, knowing that at any point in time he could have jumped in and stopped that whole thing from happening? Guess what? I do my research now, all the time. I don't think that many parents could stomach doing what my dad did for me. He let me make a $5,000 mistake. And I know why you can't stomach it. It's because you love us. You care about us. But what you're doing is actually really hurting us. I asked a group of millennials, I said, tell me about the relationship you have with your parents. This is what they said. I call my mom for everything. Even if there's something I could probably figure out, it's just easier to call her. She always does it for me. We had to do our own homework, but if we got stuck on a problem, our parents would always give us the answer. And my favorite one said, my college roommate, when she needs a stamp, her mom will just mail her a stamp. I think you can spot the trend. I believe that the largest obstacle that is getting in the way of us being successful is our complete lack of independence. We don't have it. And as a result, we don't have any self-confidence. But we didn't choose this. We're victims of convenience, and that convenience is us looking, and you're standing there with your hand helping us up every single time. We have to fail. Please, let us fail. Let us fall down by ourselves. Watch us get up by ourselves. We have to help ourselves by ourselves. It is the only way that we will ever learn. Times are very different now. Our self-esteem and our confidence is being eroded in ways that you can't even imagine. I bet you've never heard of Lulu, an app that allows women to rate men based on things like commitment and appearance and sense of humor and first kiss. You can give them a 1 to 10 rating in all of these categories, and then it gives the guy an average. So Luke could be a 7.2 and Mike could be a 9.3. Or how about Yik Yak, an app that allows you to anonymously talk about someone. It uses your location. So it's the perfect app to talk badly about someone in the same room as you. So right now, if you had Yik Yak on your phones, you could be talking about how much you don't like my talk. You could be voting one another's comments up or down, and later I could look at what you thought. And how about Tinder? Why is Tinder so popular for dating? Well, that's easy. Because it completely takes the fear out of going up to somebody, introducing yourself, and potentially being rejected. Because it only matches you when you both think the other is attractive. So now you don't even need confidence for dating. So these apps, they're fostering highly insecure people. These insecure people are now entering our workforce, which, by the way, by 2020, we will make up half of your workforce. We don't know how to make decisions because you've made them all for us, so we're missing a very critical skill. And that, coupled with the fact that we're second-guessing ourselves because we don't know what others are saying about us, that leads to a recipe for disaster in the workplace and in life. We can't make decisions. We're literally paralyzed. So how do we fix this? We talked about what parents can do. Organizations, you have to force us to fail. You have to accept that our first major failure very well may be at work. And you have to be okay with that, even if that means losing money and losing customers. At Student Maid, we don't manage people. We believe you can manage yourself. You make your own decisions, you own the solutions, you own the results that come with those solutions, and if they aren't the best, well, you better learn from it. And as a result, high schoolers have autonomy in their jobs. They are not afraid of failure, and when you can remove that fear, couple that with freedom, that's when amazing things happen. There's a psychologist by the name of Meg Jay. She talks about how we've created unrealistic expectations. She says, instead of asking us, well, if you won the lottery, you could be anything you wanted to be, could do anything you wanted to do, what would you do? You should go do that. Why do we say that? That's as if money and experience don't matter. And they matter a lot. So what you're doing by telling us that we have this endless sea of opportunity that we're swimming in, it's a lie. We're doggy paddling. We're trying to keep our heads above the water. There might only be 5 or 6 things that we can actually do to get out of that water. But you're overwhelming us because you're telling us there's so many things we can do. So what do we want you to do? We just want you to tell us the truth. We want you to ask us, if you never won the lottery, if you never won it, what would you be okay doing for the rest of your life? Because we know that answer. We've always known that answer. And the reason you can't hear us is because we don't define success like you do. Success to us is not sitting in a corner office. It is not buying the nicest house. It is not getting an education, because to us, it was expected that we went to college. So we don't associate success with our education. We don't care about the corner office. It's very simple. We want to love the work that we do, and we want to love who we do it with. And you wonder why you can't keep us engaged at work and why we bounce from company to company to company. Because you're not listening to us. You have to find a way to show us how our work matters every single day. We want to know if we're committing ourselves to something, well, how is it affecting the bigger picture? What kind of impact are we making? And if you don't give that to us, if you don't tell us how our work matters, we will jump around until we find someone who will. I talked to a group of millennials, 100% of them, 100%, 20 millennials in this group, said they would rather stay with a company and work their way up than bounce around. So when you tell us we don't have loyalty and we don't have patience and all we care about is instant gratification, it's BS. We also care about freedom. Give us freedom. Let us choose our own work schedule. Treat us like adults. I asked millennials, if you made $100,000 a year, you had to work a rigid work schedule, would you take a 50% pay cut to be able to create your own schedule? And 100% of them said yes. At Student Maid, our students choose their own schedules. Guess what? 97% have better grades since working with us because they have learned time management. So we don't care about money, we care about making a difference, and we care about having a voice. So then why am I here telling you this? I'm here bridging the gap because our generation, they can't communicate with you. They don't know how. They're afraid. They're afraid to confront you. They call you after hours just to get a voicemail so they don't actually have to talk to a real person. They'd rather send you an emoji than tell you how they're really feeling. It's the truth. And it's really sad because they want to talk to you. They want to hear from you. They're begging that you will start a conversation with them. They want your mentorship. Sierra, the millennial I mentioned at the beginning with the article, she ended her article in a way that I think is very reflective of what our generation feels as a whole. She said, "You did our work for us, and then you called us lazy. You forced our teachers to give us A's, and then you told us that they weren't good enough. You made us trophy seekers, and then you mocked us for our walls of worthless awards. We followed the decisions you want us to make. We went to the best schools. We chose the best majors. We took the most internships. And now here we are in your basement. Because no one in your generation is willing to pay us a living wage. And somehow, we have been called the Boomerang Generation who refuses to grow up. Well, when do we ever have the chance?" That's what she said. We're living in a world of instant gratification. We want to buy something, we go online, we buy it, and tomorrow it is on our doorstep. We want to watch a movie, we log on and we watch it. We don't have to wait all week to watch our favorite TV show because we can just binge watch all weekend. We want to get in touch with a friend, we text them in an instant. We don't have to call and leave a message and wait 4 days for them to get back to us. And that's where the problem lies. When it comes to our work, our careers, and our relationships, it takes time and patience. And we weren't raised to learn that. But it's okay. We still have time, and we have each other. So let's be there for one another. Let's hold each other as we struggle to grow up. And if someone falls, let's stand there, look down, say, "Good fall. Now get back up by yourself." And if we can get really good at this, we'll be able to achieve everything that you thought we would, and we'll do it ourselves. Thank you.